Walk into any car dealership today, and you'll find rows of SUVs, tall, boxy, and marketed as the ultimate family vehicle. Spacious, practical, capable of carrying everything a modern household needs. But there was a car built decades earlier that solved several of the exact problems SUVs still struggle with today. Lower center of gravity, better fuel efficiency, easier loading, and a smoother ride. That car was the full-size American station wagon. And today, we're exploring why this humble family hauler may have actually gotten more things right than the vehicles that eventually replaced it. Let's get into it. To understand the station wagon's genuine engineering advantages, you first need to understand what problem it was originally built to solve. In the years following the Second World War, American families were growing, suburbs were expanding rapidly, and households needed a single vehicle capable of handling everything from the daily school run to a 2-week family vacation loaded with luggage. Manufacturers responded by extending the standard sedan platform, stretching the roofline back over an enclosed cargo area, and adding a rear tailgate for easy loading. The formula was simple, but remarkably effective, and by the 1960s, the station wagon had become a genuine fixture of American suburban life. Here's where the engineering advantage becomes clear. Because the station wagon was built on a standard car platform, rather than a taller truck-based frame like many SUVs would later adopt, it maintained a notably lower center of gravity. That single characteristic had significant real-world benefits that modern SUV owners still grapple with today. A lower center of gravity means better stability through corners, reduced risk of rollover in emergency maneuvers, and generally more predictable, car-like handling. Station wagon drivers in the 1960s weren't wrestling with the top-heavy feel that comes standard with many modern SUVs, particularly during quick lane changes or sudden evasive maneuvers. Loading practicality tells a similar story. A station wagon's cargo floor sat remarkably low to the ground, closer to sedan height than truck height. Loading groceries, luggage, or a stroller meant lifting items a relatively short distance, rather than hoisting them up into an elevated SUV cargo area. A genuine physical strain many parents and older drivers still contend with today. The rear tailgate itself was often a clever two-piece design, a drop-down lower section combined with a separately opening or retracting upper glass panel, giving owners flexible loading options depending on what they were carrying. Some station wagons even offered a rear-facing third row of seats, positioned in the cargo area itself, allowing families to seat additional children while maintaining full access to the vehicle through that low, easy tailgate opening. Fuel efficiency represents another area where the station wagon's fundamental design held a genuine advantage over what would eventually replace it in American driveways. Built on standard car platforms rather than heavier truck-based architecture, station wagons were generally lighter and more aerodynamically efficient than the boxy SUVs that gained popularity in subsequent decades. That lower profile and reduced frontal area meant less wind resistance at highway speeds, translating directly into better fuel economy, a genuinely significant consideration as fuel prices rose through the 1970s. A family could get essentially all the cargo carrying capability of a larger vehicle, without paying the fuel economy penalty that came with the taller, heavier alternatives that would eventually dominate the market. So if station wagons genuinely offered these practical advantages, why did American families eventually abandon them in favor of SUVs? The answer has less to do with engineering and considerably more to do with perception, marketing, and a specific piece of automotive regulation. Through the 1970s and into the 1980s, station wagons had accumulated something of an image problem. They'd become closely associated in American popular culture with a particular kind of unglamorous suburban domesticity. Reliable, practical, but not exactly aspirational. Meanwhile, a regulatory quirk in how vehicles were classified for fuel economy standards created an unexpected opening. Trucks, including truck-based SUVs, were classified differently than passenger cars under fuel economy regulations established in the 1970s. This classification gap gave manufacturers a genuine incentive to develop and market SUVs, vehicles that could offer wagon-like practicality while technically avoiding some of the stricter regulatory requirements applied to standard passenger cars, including the station wagon. Combined with clever marketing that positioned SUVs as rugged, adventurous, and genuinely different from the perceived stodginess of the traditional family wagon, American buyers began shifting their preferences through the 1980s and into the 1990s. The station wagon, despite its genuine practical and dynamic advantages, gradually faded from mainstream American showrooms. It's worth pausing here to appreciate what actually got lost in that transition. The station wagon's lower stance wasn't a limitation, it was a genuine dynamic advantage. Its car-based platform wasn't a compromise, it was often the more efficient, more stable engineering solution to the practical problem of hauling a family and their belongings. SUVs solved certain problems the station wagon genuinely struggled with, particularly around ground clearance for genuinely rough terrain and a commanding driving position that many buyers found reassuring in traffic. But in doing so, they reintroduced exactly the stability and efficiency trade-offs that the station wagon's design had specifically avoided in the first place. There's a broader lesson buried in this story, one we've touched on across several of our videos here on the channel. American automotive trends haven't always followed the most efficient or dynamically sound engineering path. Sometimes, regulatory quirks, cultural perception, and clever marketing shape what ends up in driveways just as powerfully as raw engineering merit does. The station wagon didn't disappear because SUVs definitively out-engineered it. In many meaningful ways, particularly around handling, loading ease, and fuel efficiency, the opposite was often true. It disappeared because the market shifted, image mattered, and a regulatory loophole created genuine business incentive for manufacturers to push buyers toward a different shape of vehicle entirely. Interestingly, the broader auto industry seems to have partially rediscovered this lesson in recent years. The modern crossover, essentially a car-based platform with SUV-inspired styling, has become enormously popular precisely because it splits the difference, offering some of the commanding SUV driving position buyers want, while returning to the lower, more car-like platform that genuinely improves handling and efficiency. In a very real sense, the crossover represents the automotive industry quietly circling back toward engineering principles the station wagon had already figured out decades earlier, wrapped in a shape that modern marketing finds easier to sell. Looking back at the classic American station wagon today, it's easy to dismiss it as simply an outdated relic, a car your grandparents drove before something better came along. But the engineering reality tells a more nuanced story. In several genuinely important respects, particularly stability, loading practicality, and fuel efficiency, the station wagon got things right that the vehicles which replaced it are in some ways still working to recapture. It wasn't outdated, it was in many respects simply out of fashion. That's the story of the classic station wagon, and the surprising number of practical, dynamic advantages it offered that even today's SUVs still haven't fully matched. If you enjoyed this look into forgotten automotive engineering, or if your family had a station wagon growing up, let us know in the comments below. And if you want more deep dives into the stories behind classic cars, like this video and subscribe to the channel. We bring you a new piece of forgotten car history every single week. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.